What is good, guys, and welcome back to the channel. This video is my 6-week update on preparing for a show for 2024. My name is Rory Gitting, a men's physique IFBB pro, and in this video we're going to cover the Arnold's. The UK Arnold's just happened last weekend, so we're going to get into that, things that were amazing and some things that were slightly disappointing. I also have my 16-week update for my waist training experiment, and we're going to get into pretty much all of the details on how it went, because I have been updating you every 4 weeks, but I haven't done one for 8 weeks now, so we're going to actually get into the final figures for what happened over 16 weeks, and then whether or not we'll actually recommend it for anyone else, and then finally we're going to finish with some physique updates. Right, getting stuck into the Arnold's. This was the best expo UK has had since about maybe 2017, back in the glory days of Body Power. So it was a fantastic turnout. We had some big names, we had big brands coming over. The UK hasn't been able to achieve that since the glory days. But this was the first time I was one of the athletes people were coming to meet, which just blew my mind. It's one thing, you know, being savvy on social media and people commenting, oh, I like your videos and things like this, but it is a completely different experience when people come up to you in person, they want to take a photo, they want to have a good chat, they want to get into details about their life and their goals. It just blew my mind being on that side of things when I've always been the guy in the 3-hour queues to see the athletes at these kind of expos. So guys, thank you so much. That experience was mind-blowing for me, and I'm going to try and make an effort to do more things like that going forward in the future. I did get tickets to watch the night show on the Saturday, so that was the men's physique, bikini, and the open. I do recommend actually going to the shows because you just don't get to understand how insane these physiques are without seeing it in person. It's very different just looking at a photo to actually seeing it in person. But because I'm men's physique, I had to see the men's physique athletes on the stage as well. I needed to compare myself just to see how far away I am from these guys who are some of the best in the world. And I was pretty happy, actually. I was surprised that I would be able to match up to their size. There's different elements of genetics, like the roundness and the way they're just so 3D and the muscle separation, but that is something I'm working on. And then again, just conditioning. They're really awarding conditioning in men's physique this day and age, so you just have to be completely shredded, stripped of all fat from head to toe. And as long as you have the shape, the roundness, the muscle size, which I do feel I have this year, I just need to nail the conditioning. But my disappointment for the Arnold's this year was we had 4 Brits competing for the men's physique UK Arnold's, and all 4 pulled out. Very disappointing to see. I do think that's going to have a bit of a knock-on effect for next year's Arnold's. Having so many people drop out from a really major show, it's just not going to go down very well. I do understand some people did have legitimate excuses, like they were really quite sick, and that's absolutely fine. Bodybuilding, you have to be very careful with your health in bodybuilding. So that for me is an absolutely fine excuse. You do not mess with your health. But other people didn't. So that's where I was a little bit disappointed. Right, getting into my waist shrinking experiment with using waist trainers or lifting belts, whatever you want to call it, because I just wear a lifting belt for 10 hours a day, it's kind of like a waist trainer. So this is what's happened so far with my journey of trying to shrink my waist. That is 34 inches exactly. Pretty impressed with that, I'm not gonna lie. I am pretty impressed with that. Just see if you can get it focused in the camera. I don't think it's focusing, there's my thumb. I didn't make a video for the week 12 update just because I only lost ½ an inch and I didn't think that was exciting enough to make a whole video about it. So I just did the photo updates, but now at week 16, I'm still 32 inches. So I didn't lose any more size on my waist. However, I am 12 pounds heavier now than when I started with a 34-inch waist. I am now a 32-inch waist, but 12 pounds heavier. In fact, the last time I was this weight, I was a 35-inch waist. So I'm actually 3 inches down the last time I was at this weight. However, it could have been a little bit more fat gains at that time. It's quite hard to say, like I wasn't measuring fat at all. But it was interesting that I can gain weight and still maintain a small waist. That I thought was important, because now I'm starting the cut. I can only expect things to get even smaller as we do start losing my muffin top and those love handles. Okay, yeah, I do not have a muffin top, but I do have love handles. So they will start shrinking away, and I do expect to lose another 2 inches on my waist by the time I get on stage. So I think I can finally get into that sub 30-inch waist category again. Now, I will continue using a belt or a waist trainer throughout my entire prep because I need to keep my waist as small as possible. But do I recommend this to anyone else? Unless you're a top-level competitive athlete, probably not. Why? It hurts like hell. It really is not comfortable. I was sitting at the Arnold's, even watching the show or just being on the stands with my waist trainer on, and yeah, it sucks. So I kind of just don't recommend it just off the bat that it's so uncomfortable. It's not very nice. It's a very unpleasant experience. However, being a top competitive level bodybuilder or men's physique athlete, the smallest improvements can start to make a difference on your stage placing. So all of these little things that can make you 1 or 2% better can start adding up. So if you'll get 2% better at this, 1% better at that, all of a sudden you realize that you're now 10% better than what you were. It makes a difference. So yes, unless you are very serious about being the absolute best you possibly can be, then I will recommend waist training. But if you're not, if you're doing this for fun, if you don't really matter that much, that it's only gonna make a couple inches difference off your waist, then don't do it because it sucks. Right, let's get into the physique updates for the 6-week mark. So going forward, I'm just going to upload all of the check-in photos that I actually send my coach, because before I would actually make them a little bit more aesthetic, a little bit more pleasing for a YouTube video, but I thought, oh, to hell with this. Let's just have it raw. Let's just show you the full experience of what I'm going through. But this is the type of videos that I send to my coach. Men's physique now get judged by legs, so I do my check-ins in underwear, and you'll see the camera angle is much lower. Looks much worse aesthetically, but it's what the judges see. This is the judge's perspective, so it's more important for my coach to know where I need to improve from a judge's perspective. So instantly, the lower angle does make my waist look much thicker because it's closer to the camera than my shoulders are. But it is what it is. Like I say, it all counts about the judge's perspective. So I do feel like I'm a tad leaner this check-in, which I'm pretty happy with. And I do feel that things are still growing. I still see improvements being made in my back, in my shoulders. My shoulders are a little bit rounder. My chest is a little bit thicker as well. This was after a chest day, so my chest is gonna be nice and plump. But we are sticking to this trajectory and we're gonna stick to the lean bulk because I am still getting slightly leaner every single week. So we kind of are on prep for that reason, but we're just not absolutely just plummeting the calories and then doubling the cardio or anything like that to really drop the hammer and start prep. And I think it's a good way of doing it because it means the calories can stay pretty high and I'm not forcing my body to lose fat. It is actually just losing fat, just the way things are going. So it's a good place to be. But right guys, that is everything for today's week 6 update. I have hit 70,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for that. I am well aware that most of these subscribers are coming from my shorts because I've got a lot of viral shorts at the moment. But you guys getting to the end of the video are the real supporters, so thank you so much for that. I'd really appreciate it if you just liked the video or dropped a comment, and thank you again for watching. That'll be everything for today, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.